Hello everyone, thanks for your participation. I'm so glad to be here today and introduce the Wind Financial Terminal to you. And today we are keep going to introduce how the Wind Terminal empower money market and the interest rate bond traders in the financial market. And today's session is going to be the second part. Again, before we dig into the terminal, I would like to introduce our company briefly. Wind was founded in year 1998, and after over 25 years of dedication, we have become the leader of financial information provider in China. And our clients include the world top investment banks, as well as research agency, financial institution, and so on. And right now, our office operates not only in the mainland China, but also in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, New York, San Francisco, Luxembourg, and London. I strongly believe that our service will satisfy research need for all financial participants. Okay, here is a brief introduction of our company, and then we can start with our training today. In today's training, we will introduce the function which is related to bond trading and post-market analysis. It will include two parts, which will allow the market participants to work more efficiently. So, first of all, we will introduce how to monitor the market trend in interest rate bond market and learn how to use the assistant tool for calculation. Second, after the trading, the terminal also provides whole bond market reports for you to review the dynamic of the market. So totally, after my presentation, you will control related bond skill with our terminal, especially in the interest rate bond. Okay, so let's start with our first part, bond market trend and trading assistant tool. Okay, so we have already just introduced the key component of the interest rate trading in our former session, so we can just start with our trading directly. So once you are going to trade, you must need to get the latest bond price, right? So when it comes to the bond price, the quotes from the broker is important for the bond trader. There are over 200,000 quotations and over 10,000 transactions per day in the brokerage market. So you need an efficient tool to track the price data, and the broker quotes is the tool what you need. So how can we get such kind of the tool for you? So we can just go into our terminal first, and we can enter the shortcut BBQ to reach it. BBQ. Then we can enter into the broker bond quotes. Okay, so you can see in the right hand side, you can get the latest quote price from 6 major brokers in China. We can see on the top over here, we can provide you 6 major brokers over here. And once we click it, then such kind of broker, let me provide the bond price for you. And as we know, if we are going to take a look with the bond price, right? They may have several bond quotes from 6 major brokers, but there is only one best price for each of the bond, right? So we may not only provide you the 6 major brokers quotes over here, at the same time, we provide you one column just called the best quotes. In the best quotes, we can see each of bond, they may provide only one best price for you. I can just take an example for you. For example, once I just click one bond, we can see this bond, it provides several quotes from different broker, right? I've already mentioned to you from 6 major broker. And at the same time, there is only one best price for you. It's from over here, this broker and this one. So it is really easy for you to get the best price when you are going to trade such kind of a bond. So it is pretty easy for you to get such kind of the best price over here. This is the best quote sector over here. And also at the same time, once we have already get such a quotes, we may also need to take a look with the final trading result, right? So we can see here, we can also provide you a trading value ranking over here to find out such kind of the value ranking of the different bond. And also the detail of the trading result can also be found over here. All the trading result in details can just be found in the bottom of this page. And the most important thing is on the left hand side. We can see on the left hand side, we provide you a rich filtering condition, which can find the trading bond which you may need. It can be depends on different type of the bond. We can see when we just scrolling down, we provide you different type, different term, or even different rating of the bond that you want. And today we are going to be more focused on the interest rate bond, right? So first of all, we can just take a look with the type over here. Then we can see if we are going to take a look on the interest rate bond, then we can just click the rates over here. Then we can see on the right hand side, it will provide you all the bonds which is belonging to the interest rate bond. And in addition, we can again scroll down. For example, we can just find a different term over here. If we are going to take a look with a longer term of interest rate bond, right? We can just click 7 to 10 years this time range, and we can see the maturity should be showing over here. It is pretty easy for you to narrow down the range of you are going to trade. And also at the same time, if you are again to scrolling down, you can see because we are going to take a look with the interest rate bond, right? The municipal bond is also belonging to the interest rate bond. And right now, because we are located in the Shanghai, right? So we can again to choose different kind of category over here. Take the Shanghai for example. Then we can see on the right hand side, there are only 4 bonds, which is belonging to the interest rate bond. The time range is from 7 to 10 years and belonging or even issued by the Shanghai government. Then we can find it over here. So by such kind of filter on the left hand side, it is really easy for you to narrow down such kind of the bond that you may going to trade. So with such kind of filter, it can help the trader to focus on a smaller range of the bond trading. And also at the same time, such filter can be saved as a template for your next time to use. We can see when we're scrolling up on the top of this filter, we can see we can just save such kind of a template. For example, we can just save it as a interest rate bond. Interest rate bond, we can just shorten in IR. Then we can just press OK button. Then such kind of the filtering result may be showing over here. Next time, you can just click over here. Then the result will show you automatically on the right hand side. It can exactly to elevate your trading efficiency. Okay, so this is talk about the bond codes. As I mentioned, with the broker codes, you can just on the left hand side to get such kind of a rich filter. Then you can narrow down the range that you are going to trade. This is talking about bond codes over here. And we just talked about the bond codes on the last page and introduce the method how we can filter the bond, right? Which can help us to be more focused on a limited number of the bonds. However, if a bond is going to monitor only a few specific bonds, right, rather than a whole bond market, how the trader can do on that. So I'm going to introduce another function just called the My Bond Sector. It can also help you to narrow down your trading range again. So let's go back to our terminal, and we can see on the left up corner, we can click the My Bond Sector over here. Then we can see there are several columns over here. We can see on the bottom over here, I've already created several columns for you. Take the government bond for example. Once I click over here, you can see I have already added up several government bonds over here. Once you are going to add up a different bond, right, you can just add the bond as you want over here. For example, you can just enter the symbol 240001, which is a bond issued by the China government. Then once I just enter over here, then we can see such kind of bond may be added up over here. So it is pretty easy and simple for you to find out such a bond over here. Okay, so this is a pretty easy way to add up any bond that you want, right? And the main point is, how can I just created such kind of the sector by yourself? How can we do on that? It's pretty easy. I can just use the sector management. We can just enter a shortcut 07 over here. Then we can enter it into the sector management sector. Then we can just create what I mentioned before, a different sector over here. For example, I've already created one sector called a government bond, right? We can just use the new sector to create a new template over here and add up any bond you want over here. Because right now I've already created over here, and you can just use like the manual selection to choose the different bond you want. For example, you can just choose the government bond over here, then you can add it up, then save it as you want, then such kind of result may be showing over here. It is an easy way for you to create your own sector. Then once the sector has been created, it will show you over here. Once you just click the plus button over here, then you will show you on the current sector. Then you can be more easy to check up the different bond which you have already added up in the sector management. Okay, so in the My Bond page, it will only show the latest information of my favorite bond, and you can also just create several sectors as you need. What I already mentioned, you can use the sector management to create the bond what you want. Okay, so let's go back to our slides, and as I mentioned, you can just add up any kind of the bond what you want over here with the sector management. So it will allow you to be more easy to find out the bond which you are more concerned on that. Okay, so this is about My Bond sector. And at the end of our first part, our terminal also provides several assistant tools for the bond trader. Take the bond calculation, for example. We can just calculate the bond price with your own forecasting. So how can we just use such kind of simple and powerful calculator? Okay, let's go back to our terminal again, and I can show you how to use such kind of a calculator. First of all, we again need to enter the shortcut. The shortcut is the BC1 to enter into the bond calculator. And we can see once we just enter into this sector, on the left hand side, we can just enter different parameter that you forecasted, and you will calculate automatically for you. For example, first of all, I need to enter the bond what I'm going to concern or even I'm going to calculate. So for example, 240-205, this bond is issued by the Central Development Bank, and it traded in high frequency. So I can just want to take a look with this bond. And once I enter this bond, it will provide you the default original data over here, like the clean price, dirty price, and several parameters over here. And this is only provide you the original data, but you can change it as you want, which the color is in the light blue. For example, you can see right now the yield maturity is about 2.21%, right? And if I want to change it, depends on my forecasting. For example, in my viewpoint, I believe that in the future, the yield maturity may going up to maybe about 2.3%, and I can just enter 2.3 over here and enter. Then we can see such kind of a clean price, dirty price will change it automatically as you want. So it is exactly a pretty easy use calculator, and then you can get other calculation result over here. And also, you can see on the right hand side, we also provide you the variation result over here, and you can change such kind of variation from different sources as you want. Then such kind of result may showing automatically over here again. And not only we may provide you like the clean price, dirty price, we also provide you like the spread, right? So if I want to compare such kind of the bond with the government bond, right, the treasury bond, so I can just enter a treasury bond, for example, and then once I click over here, the interest spread will showing over here automatically again. So it is actually pretty easy to use but powerful, right? You can see we can get the spread, also the G spread, Z spread over here, which is again you will calculate automatically depends on your forecasting or even the parameter that you entered. Okay, so this is talk about the bond calculator. And again, as I mentioned, such kind of a calculator, it is exactly pretty simple and powerful to use. You can just adjust a different parameter, and then such kind of a result will show you automatically as you want. Okay, so this is about bond calculator. So in the last part, I've already just introduced several functions which is related to the bond trader. They may get the latest bond price as they want, and also I also provide some assistant tool for the bond trader. And in the second part, we will just introduce the post-market data, which can help you on the data analysis of the bond market. Okay, so after getting the latest bond quotes, right, monitoring on the trading result can also help you to judge the sentiment of the bond long and short side. So in the terminal, we also provide you a separate part for reviewing, which is called bond market watching. So how can we get such kind of function can help you to take a look with the final trading result. So again, we can just go back to our terminal, and we can enter the shortcut, which is the BMW, to enter into the bond market watch. So the page displays the current data of the bond market interest rate, as well as the rise and fall of the key maturity. We can see on the top over here, this is the matrix with the time period and also the different bonds, right? From year to the long term. And also, because today we are going to be focusing on the interest rate bond, right? So on the left hand side, it will show in the treasury bond, the CDB bond, and so on. So in such kind of a matrix, we can find out the latest trading result over here. For example, this bond is the treasury bond, right? And the time period is about 10 years treasury bond. And once I just click over here, then we can see on the bottom over here, may showing you all the 10 years treasury bond trading result over here. And as we know, the 10 year treasury bond, there are several bonds over here, right? And it will just the ranking with the top value over here. For example, we can see in today, the most frequent trade bond is this one, 240011. This bond is the most frequent trade bond, interest rate bond of the treasury bond, right? The deals is over about 842 deals today. So it is really easy for you to find out such kind of a matrix. Okay, this is really easy for you to get out such kind of a trading result. And we can see on the right upper corner over here, we can see the terminal also provide you a statistical data of the taken, given, and down. A high given indicates that the transactions are mainly down at the bid price, indicating there is a strong selling sentiment. And the taken indicates the transaction at the ask price, showing a strong buying willingness. And the down means the bid and ask price match at the trade directly. So we can see in today, the given is exactly larger than the taken. So it exactly means that the selling power is exactly larger than the buying power. More traders, they are willing to sell the bond in today's sentiment. So it is also a good reference for the bond trader to find out such kind of the feeling or even the sentiment of the whole bond market over here. So with this page, you can just be really easy to realize such kind of a recent trading settlement. Okay, so again, let's go back to our slides. We can see such kind of metrics can help you to find out the current date bond market result, and also the statistical data of the taken, given, down can reflect such kind of a settlements of today's trading. Okay, this is about the bond market watch. And in addition to getting the latest trading result, right, the historical trading is also a good reference for the bond trader to review a specific bond. So how can you get such kind of a historical data of an individual bond, right? So let me show you how to do it. Again, let's go back to our terminal. As I mentioned, this bond, which is the number called 240011, this bond, if I want to take a look with the historical data of this bond, right? Because this bond is trading in a high frequency, I also want to take a look with historical data. How can I do it? It's pretty simple. I can just double click over here. Then we can see we will jump into the latest quotation page of this bond. Again, we can see this bond has been quoted by 6 major brokers over here, and the latest quotation list and the yield curve can just be found over here. It is provide you the latest data over here. And in addition to the latest data, we want to take a look with the historical trade, right? So we can just click the historical trade over here. Then we can find the data, historical data as you want. We can see over here, the trader can just review the main body transaction in the various market today. We provide the daily data. We can see the frequency of the daily data, and also the tick data can also be found over here of these bonds in today's result. We can just find over here the trading date and the trading result can just be found directly as you want over here. And in addition to clearly understand the main body's liquidity, it is also allow you to have an insight into the potential risk or the trading opportunity. So our data source can provide, including we can see not only from the broker, right? It also provide you just like the information from the CFAS or even from the exchanges, and as I mentioned, from the broker. All such kind of source can just be found over here. So you may not lose any chance of the trading from our terminal. And also, at the same time, you can just find it. In addition, on the right-hand side, we provide historical data, and also we provide several indicators over here, and you can custom your indicator as you want. In addition, you can also, on the left-hand side, we provide you other bonds issued by the same issuer. On the left hand side. So this is exactly a good way to get more bond to trade. We may not only provide this bond for you, and the other bond which is with the same issuer can also be found over here. We can just click over here, then the right hand side will show you the historical data of this bond can just be found over here. It is exactly for you to get out more trading opportunities with our terminal. Okay, so let's go back to our slides. As I mentioned, in the historical data or historical trade information over here, you can just review the historical data from the same issuer and also understand the trading activity across the different market. And you can just find out more trading opportunities as you want. Okay, and in order to find more trading opportunities, right? We may need to get more historical data from the different dimension. And the yield history is also a good function for you to analyze the spread and the yield. For the institutional participant, especially in the primary market auction, besides paying attention to the funding situation, they can also conduct the primary bid pricing through the study of the issuance interest rate trend. And compare to the secondary market, the primary market can offer investor a better price or quantity, especially when the market demand is weak. So, due to the large issuance volume in the primary market, it is interest rates are relatively better than those of the secondary market purchase. So, we can just catch up such kind of opportunity with our terminal. So, right now, I will try to take a 5 years treasury bond, for example, to show you if there is any spread between the primary or even in there is spread between the primary and the secondary market. How can we find out such kind of trading opportunity with our terminal? So let's go back to our terminal, and I can just enter the shortcut called YH, enter into the yield history sector. And we can see on the left hand side, we can just find out the different bond yield over here. We can see they provide several yield bond over here. And also on the bottom over here, you can just search the bond which you want. For example, I can just find the government bond. Government bond yield curve over here. And we are going to take a look with the 5 years, right? So we can just enter the 5 year over here, the government bond yield curve, the 5 year. So I can just find this bond what I want. I just double click over here, then this indicator will show you over here. And in addition, I also need to take a look with the primary market, right? So I also need to find another indicator for that. I can just enter the fixed rate T-bond or even the treasury bond issue rate over here, right? And I can just find the 5 years over here. Then we can find out such two indicator over here. And in addition, we are going to find out the spread between them, right? So I can just click the right clicking and press the indicator over here, and I can just subtract between them, right? I can just subtract the different indicator, and we can get the final spread between them. So I can just press the OK button. Then we can get a three indicator over here: the original, the secondary market result, and the primary market result, and the spread between them. Okay, so I just select all the indicator and press the load button. Then we can see such kind of result may show over here. Then such kind of result can also be shown in a graph over here. We can see the blue line and the green line will show in the primary and the secondary market, and in the origin line, this is the spread between them. And for you to be more easy to take a look with such kind of a spread, I can also change the showing result as you want. For example, I can press the design line, the design sector, and I can change the spread in the area line. Then it will be more easy for you to get out the spread between them, right? We can get in the orange area, which is the spread, and such kind of a spread or even such kind of a graph can just provide you a good opportunity of the trading because there is a large spread between them. So the deviation of the 5-year treasury bond is relatively large as the graph which I'm showing. So such kind of opportunity can just be found from our yield history sector. So as I mentioned, with the yield history, you can just keep going to find more opportunities with the different bond yield and the spread from our market spread sector. Okay, and what's more, if you are going to find more trading opportunities, right, with the changing shape of the yield curve sector is also a good tool for the bond trader. We can see the trader may use the curve become flattened or even steeper to build up their strategy. So how can we take a look with such kind of the yield curve to find out more trading opportunity, right? So again, that's going back to our terminal, and we can just enter a shortcut YC to enter into the yield curve to take a look with such kind of the changing of the yield curve. We can see right now I can just choose the China bond, government bond yield curve, for example. We can see on the right hand side, you can see it is an upward yield curve of the China government bond over here, which is exactly pretty familiar with we want. It is upward shaping. And in this page, we may not only provide you such kind of the curve, we can also provide you two main functions over here. The first one is the suppose time, which means that one curve, it may have a different change between a different time, right? So right now, we can see once we click the suppose time, we can see the blue line is right now on today's result, the yield curve, and I can just compare such kind of a curve, right? For example, if I want to compare such kind of a result on the January, on the beginning of the year, then I can choose the date what I want, then press the OK button. Then we can see there is exactly a great change between them. We can see that originally on the first month in year 2024, the curve of the government bond, the China government bond, is exactly higher than right now the yield curve. We can see the brown one is the yield curve in January, and the blue one is the curve in October. So after about 10 months movement, this line has been dropped down a lot. We can see the whole curve has been moving downward. So from this kind of movement, you can build up your own trading strategy. Depends on such kind of a movement, right? And in addition to such kind of suppose of time, we can also suppose with a different curve. Right? For example, I can just change a different curve as I want to compare with the China government yield curve, right? For example, I can compare such kind of curve with the US Treasury bond yield curve, right? We can compare with the different countries yield curve. So once I just choose the different curve I choose, then we can see the blue one is in China and the brown one is in the United States. It is exactly for you to more easy to compare with the different curve as you want, right? So depends on the not only with the shape of the changing of the different curve, and also the upward or the downward movement of the parallel movement of the different of the same curve can all be just collected in our terminal. You can use like the superposed time and also the superposed curve for you to compare the different curve changing, and with such kind of comparison will help you to be more easier to find such kind of trading opportunities. Okay, so as I mentioned, with such kind of a yield curve sector, it can allow you to be more easy to find out the different change of the yield curve. Okay, and in addition to finding the good chance by ourselves, hearing the viewpoint of other investors may also be a good reference for the bond trader, right? We may also build up our own trading strategy, but we can just hearing from others' view movement is also a good reference for you, especially for institutional behavior. It is exactly key focus after the market close. So how can you know the behavior of the different institutional investors in a bond market? So we are going to showing some statistical data. Then we can find out what the movement should be for the different institutional investor. Right now, we can just go into the BMO sector, which is the bond market overview, which we have already also introduced before. And we can see on the left-hand side, we provide you several columns. And right now, we can just scroll down, and we can see one column just called the bond custody. This part is exactly a good reference for you to take a look with the different institutional movement. For example, we can just take a look with the structure of the investor for the main bond. Once I just click over here, then we can see on the right hand side, we can just take a look with the different movement of the different different institutional investor, like the commercial bank or the credit corporates or insurance institution. So how can we get such kind of data? It's pretty easy. Right now, first, we can just choose the current the month over here. For example, we can just choose the August to compare with the beginning of the year. For the January, for example, then I can just click the load button. Then we can see the different bond on the top over here and the movement of the different institutional investor. We can see, take the commercial bank for example, we can see you have already added up several treasury bond in the past 8 months through this statistical data. So we can see it is pretty easy to understand that the commercial bank is much preferred to buy the treasury bond through this statistical data. And also, I can just press the add button over here, then it will rank it. We can see the commercial bank add up several great amount of treasury bond, but it have already reduced the holding of the commercial bank bond in the past 8 months. So with such kind of statistical data, you can be more easy to catch up the different investor, institutional investor, what they are going to, or what they did before. Did they add up more treasury bond, or even they add up more municipal bond, or even other policy bank bond? Can just be found over here. And in addition, we can also get the historical trend as we want. For example, from the January to the August over here, then we can also find out the treasury bond, the government debt, how the movement of the different bond can also be found over here. So as I mentioned, with such kind of a result, you can just keep working on analyzing how other investors have changed on their trading strategies. Make a decision if you also need to change your strategy to follow them or keep the current way. So it can be easy to make up such a decision depending on our statistical data, which I'm showing you right now. Okay. So let's go back to our slides. As I mentioned, the custody data can visually show the changes in the institutional holding. It can be more easy for you to make your final decision to follow up a layer decision or keep in your own way. Okay. And finally, let's talk about the research report. Hearing all sides make one wise. So reading the research report is also a crucial part of the daily work for the bond investor. With over 2 million research reports from more than 600 sources, our platform is committed to provide a highly quality research service for you. You can just access such kind of a research report in our terminal. Okay. So again, finally, I can just show you the last function I would like to introduce to you. It's a research report, and the shortcut is the RPP. Then you can enter into the research report part. We can see once we enter into this page, on the left hand side, we can just find out one column just called a fixed income. Once I just click over here, then we can see on the right hand side, we provide you rich filtering condition over here, and also several results can just be found over here. We can see in the top over here, we provide like the source, the page, the date, or even other conditions can just be found over here. And the most easy way for you is just to search the keyword as you want. For example, I can just search the interest rate bond. I can just type it over here. For example, I can just type the interest rate bond over here and enter. Then we can find all the research report which is related to the interest rate bond over here. And for example, we may not only to sort by the date, right? This is provide you the latest report which is related to the interest rate bond. I can also sort by the heat, which may provide you the popular one of the research report which is related to the interest rate bond. For example, this research report is issued by the Ping An Security. I can just click over here. Then I can enter into this page. Then we can get out. All the research result over here, and also the analyst information, and also the detail of the bond can also be found over here. The attachment. Once I click it, then such kind of a report may show you over here. Okay. So this page is exactly an easy way for you to find out the research report as you want from our research report page. Okay, so let's go back to our last slides. So we can just utilize a third-party resource to provide a new perspectives for the investment research. As I mentioned, like the custody statistical data and also the research report part can help you to get out the related third-party information over here. So, in conclusion, with our powerful Wind Financial Terminal, you can not only to get the latest bond quotes, as I mentioned in the first part, you can also get the multiple sources of the post-market information for analyzing. So these will all contribute to the success of your investment. Okay, so until now, we've already just finished all training programs which is related to the money market and the interest rate bond. So if you have any question, just let me know. Okay, I've already just take a look with the Q&A section, and I believe that you can all understand what I said today. So this is all about today's session, and I really thank for your participation. So this is all my introduction about interest rate bond and also the function that I introduced to you today. And really thank for your participation. Have a nice day.